A recent bank rate survey found that the average fee for Americans using an out-of-network ATM hit a record high. $4.72 was the average. Local finance expert Mike Martinez joins us to share some tips on how to avoid these costs. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, just don't take the money out, first of all, but that's not an option all the time.
Right.
So, you know, what's the number one suggestion you would make, I guess?
Well, you want to make money, let's go to the grocery store and spend some money. It sounds kind of counterintuitive because, you know, we're sitting here trying to talk about saving money, but John, let's utilize some of those credit cards that offers us cash back when we swipe that card at the grocery store.
That's an excellent point, too. If you have a credit card that's not providing you rewards, I'm a little off the reservation here, forgive me, but you really ought to be looking at whether there are different credit card
Absolutely.
options.
You know, myself, with my business, I use the credit card that rewards me with American Airlines and Delta Airlines because I do travel quite a bit, and you'll be surprised how many points that you can utilize. I mean, we're all going to pay this bill at the end of the month, right? So why not go ahead and utilize some of these credit cards that offer you cash back or points, depending if you'd like to, you know, have a free vacation.
All right, so back up a second. For the ATM transaction, just limiting the number of transactions makes a difference?
Yes, absolutely, because a lot of times folks don't want to take out too much money, and then all of a sudden we find out we need to go get a little bit more, and every time you swipe that card, there's a charge for it. So there's a couple options. One is look at the different banks, maybe even credit unions, and see if there are some that don't charge for you to swipe or have a community exchange with other banks where there's free swiping. The other thing is when you're in a grocery store and you know you're going to go out that night, they also offer cash back. It is limited to $100, but it's free. But most importantly, maybe take a little bit of that money and be your own ATM and kind of hoard that money at home, and in this way, when you get ready to go out, you only did one swipe maybe per month, and you got that little cash reserve at home.
Well, also, the last of your tips there can make a difference, too, is just consider switching banks.
Yes, because a lot of times, you know, you don't realize you've been with the same bank and kind of find out there's a lot of competition out there, and banks will offer you free services such as no charge for being able to swipe that card.
It's interesting. I'm sure parents of young children probably can relate to Mommy and Daddy saying, no, we don't want to spend that money, and the little one, and the very little one saying, well, no, just go through that machine.
Exactly. Yeah, it's funny how you put it in there and it gives you cash back.
and as an adult, if you're not careful, it can kind of get carried away.
Exactly. Yes, you're right. So we need to just be careful and understand if we're going to use those cash back rewards credit cards, make sure that we pay that bill off at the end of the month. John, we don't want to run up that card and spend the money and then not have it to pay the bill.
And then you run into the whole other issue of, you know, the risk to the card and all the sorts of things. But it can be, you know, it can be difficult. There can be security concerns about using an ATM that's outside as opposed to inside the building. Lots of ways you can protect yourself.
And we have one more option, which is the old-fashioned, and there's nothing wrong with that, carry your checkbook. Seems like the only time we write out a check is when we don't have any money.
A check? I think I remember how to do that.
The checkbook.
All right. Mike Martinez, thanks.
Thanks.